Good morning. I'm Reverend Kathy. Welcome to Unity North Spiritual Center here in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. So we are an inclusive community. We welcome and accept all people. So whoever you are, wherever you are on your spiritual path, you're always welcome at Unity. We're glad you're with us today. We're part of a greater worldwide Unity movement. We are the publishers of the Daily Word magazine, and we've been holding 135 years of prayer vigil through Silent Unity, the prayer ministry of the Unity movement. So prayer is the heart and soul, the foundation of Unity. And every week we provide a prayer chaplain who is available to pray with you right after service. And today's prayer chaplain, it's Wendy, right? Nancy, you're the, okay. Yeah, Wendy, and I'm not seeing her online yet, but she'll either be here or she'll be online. But either way, her number will show up in the announcements. If she's here live, she'll be available right after service to pray with you, or you can give her a call. It will show up on the chat and during announcements, and just take that time to have the opportunity to pray with someone. It's always very uplifting and worth doing. And then today our team is Tracy and Martha, our production team in the back. Let's give them a big hand. And our worship assistant today is Howard Grenzel. And as always, we're very happy to welcome back our wonderful musician today, Judy Vinar. So thank you. All right. And with that, I invite you to speak our vision and mission together. Let me move this screen so I can see it. Okay, together. Centered in prayer, we create for all a world of love, harmony, and abundance. And our mission is celebrating spirit, exploring truths, awakening hearts, inspiring dreams, serving community. And just note the values at the bottom of the screen. Those are our core foundational beliefs here at Unity North. All right. And I invite you now to stand for our opening song.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. Joy is my source, joy is my power, joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, joy gives me everything I need. Peace is my source, peace is my power, peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need.
Well, good morning. My name is Howard Grenzel. I'll be your worship assistant today. So we're going to do a couple things a little different, so bear with me here. So we want to take a moment to greet each other. Now we've been welcomed, and now we want to, greet and acknowledge each other. So I'm going to greet everybody here in person who's in the sanctuary today. We're going to say hi to greet all those people online. There's John, Judy Hale's been a long time visitor. Nolan, Diane have been here a long time. They're from Andover. We got a couple new people. Bill and Tony, longtime parishioners at Unity of the Valley, I believe, are here. They moved up this way. So welcome to all. We greet you. We are so glad you're here. And we're going to assume that you're glad we're here. So we can assume that we're all glad we're all here. And we are blessed, though, by each other's presence. And we are right here, right now. For those that are new, of course, you can see one of us after service, and we can get you contact information or answer any questions that you might have. So we're going to go over the community news and announcements right now, and we're going to just see if this change works or does not work. So here are today's announcements. As mentioned, Wendy is the prayer chaplain. Nancy is the healing facilitator. As far as the party situations going, the next one is next Saturday. The picnic at Bunker is sold out. So they'll be going on Craigslist for triple the price pretty soon, I'm sure, the tickets that are. The Grape Escape wine tasting hosted in September is sold out. The next party is not sold out, and this is, it says in parentheses, all capital letters, this is not a retirement party. It's Reverend Kathy's 35-5 party. 35 years in ministry, 5 years at Unity North. So there'll be more information on that, and tickets will be available. It's in September. A new book study class with Rhonda Italiano, Wisdom from a Mystic with Richard Rohr. This is the month of September. It'll be Tuesdays. It's in person, and again, more information will be coming on that. Family Table is next Thursday. If you haven't experienced that, it's a great opportunity to serve meals and feed people. So this information will be available. We've got the website. Everything's on our Unity North website, all the phone numbers and contact information. See me or one of the ushers after service to get any questions answered that you might have. As Reverend Kathy stated, prayer is the heart of unity. So to begin our service, I've heard it said that prayer is the communicating to, and meditation is communication from. So let us begin our communication to. We can pray with words, thoughts, or acts of service. We can pray simply by breathing with intention. All are forms of prayer. Please join me now in prayer as we begin our service. You may close your eyes if you're comfortable. Slow down your breathing and become calm and still. If I'm feeling uncertain or conflicted, I take it as a sign to move my focus from the thoughts of my mind to the wisdom of my heart. So, moving from our head to our heart, we take another slow, deep, centering breath, breathing in with our entire body. As we inhale, feel the peace, love, and joy within. As we breathe out, gently release stress, worry, and doubt. From our heart center, we pray for peace in ourselves, so there is peace in our communities. We offer prayers of hope, peace, and love in every home, here in the United States and around the world. We pray to see the light within ourselves, so we may treat everyone, regardless of the situation, opinion, actions, or stance. We treat them with respect, patience, and tolerance. In doing so, we treat ourselves with respect, patience, and tolerance. we now release these prayers in silence. All healed and strong, healthy and whole, in our body and in our soul. And we give thanks in advance for answered prayers, and we say, thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. Please remain centered for today's daily word. Sunday, August 17th, the daily word is prosperity. My prosperity is unlimited. I claim my good now. King Darius hauled an unbitten Daniel from the lion's den. The king wrote to other nations to praise the divine power that delivered this Hebrew prophet by taming hungry beasts. Overcome by divine goodness, Darius prayed for abundant prosperity among the people of the ancient world. Today, the lions I face may be rising prices when shopping and greater cost for basic needs. Even in that den of apparent lack, my prosperity is unlimited. In prayer, I claim my good, grateful to live in an abundant universe. I pray that cooperative interaction with others who are seeking their own prosperity brings an end to poverty and establishes world peace. I claim prosperity for myself and all others. From Daniel chapter 6, verse 25, then King Darius wrote to all peoples and nations of every language throughout the whole world, may you have abundant prosperity. And the daily word is prosperity. Now Judy will prepare us for meditation.
I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is more than enough. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is sacred love. I will leave this day as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this day as it is, go inside to find my God. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is more than enough. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is sacred love. I will leave this life as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this life as it is, go inside to find my God. Go inside to find my God. Go inside to find my God.
I invite you now to sit back and close your eyes for meditation. Take several deep breaths as you say to yourself, I'm completely and fully relaxed. Feeling that wave of relaxation move from the top of your head all the way down to your feet, and circling back up and around. And allow me to speak the words for you, taking them in as your own. No matter how my healing needs may manifest, I recognize them all as calls from my body and mind to return to an awareness of spiritual wholeness. As I seek healing, I focus my attention away from what might feel wrong to what is always right, the power and presence of God within me. I speak words of affirmation that encourage my healing. I repeat, I am divinely blessed. I am healed. I am divinely blessed. I am healed. Then I give thanks for the wholeness that is always mine to claim. Placing my attention on my wholeness also keeps me positive about whatever I may be called to face. I am no longer discouraged by health challenges, understanding they are conditions that affect my human experience and are not the enduring truth of who I am. Divine life flows throughout my body like a healing stream. I step into the healing current of life that courses through me. In the stillness of prayer, I commune with the spirit of life that is always flowing. I give thanks for this healing energy that infuses my every cell with life and strength. Every part of my body and mind is composed of divine life and intelligence. I relax in this truth and let my body do its healing work. And I take a moment in the silence to call forth this divine life and intelligence in my body to do its healing work. I keep my thoughts positive and speak affirmations of faith and wholeness, knowing my body and mind respond to each thought and prayer. And as I pray, I include others in need of healing. I envision healing life flowing through them, invigorating and sustaining them with gratitude. I affirm healing activity and the unchanging truth of wholeness. I am grateful for the healing power within me and within all of life. And I return back to this time and place now, aware that I am energized and renewed with the power of Spirit. Thank you, God, and so it is. Amen.
You will do amazing things with a choice each new day brings. And with every step you take, bless the progress that you make. The reason you live is there in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. All the places you will go and the people you will know. Don't worry where or when or how. You don't need to know right now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Just enjoy what this day brings, and you will do amazing things. Amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing. Amazing. You will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes and take a breath and smile. Oh, amazing. Oh, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing. You will do amazing
beautiful song. Thank you, Judy. So I'm sitting once again. Hope to be on my feet fully in the next few weeks. So we've been recovering from a healing challenge or health challenge, and my energy is coming back better and better every week. So I'm almost there. So our theme today is I am healthy, and the lesson is healing power. So in Unity, we teach that God does not heal because God is healing. God is life. God is health and wholeness. And we are all in the process of awakening to that truth. And as we do, we develop what is called the healing consciousness. This is our conscious awareness of our oneness with God, and it becomes like a magical healing presence for others. A healing consciousness is focused not so much on the description of the illness or problem as it is on the prescription, the remedy. Not description, but prescription. And God is always the best prescription. So exercise is supposed to be one prescription we can use to become healthier, but there may be an even better one. Someone said exercise is a dirty word. Every time I hear it, I choose instead to wash my mouth out with chocolate. Speaking of exercise, Ellen DeGeneres once said, I am so unfamiliar with the gym, I call it James. So our aim is to develop a healing and a prosperity and a prayer consciousness because they are actually the same. Knowing our oneness with God as the source of all life, all health, all abundance, focusing on the truth, the prescription, rather than the problem, knowing that we are already whole. Now, it's certainly what Jesus, our way shower, taught, as did the masters of all the religious traditions. The healing journey can be a confusing one, and every expert out there will give us a conflicting opinion about which approach to take. Whether we have a physical challenge or an emotional one, we all have a certain amount of wounding from living on the earth plane. So how do we heal? There was one man who sought some medical attention because he had a problem. He had popped eyes and some ringing in his ears. So he went to a doctor, and the doctor looked him over and told him that he needed to have his tonsils removed. So he had a tonsillectomy, but it did not take care of the problem. His eyes were still popped, and his ears were still ringing. So he went to a second doctor, and the second doctor said, you have to have your teeth removed. So he did, but that didn't solve the problem. He still had popped eyes and ringing in his ears. So finally he went to a third doctor, and the third doctor said very bluntly, you have 6 months left to live. So this man decided he was going to live it up the last 6 months, and he bought a flashy car, he got a chauffeur, the best tailor in town. He bought 30 new suits and decided he would have his shirts made to order. So he goes to the shirt maker, and the shirt maker measures him and says 34 sleeve, 16 collar. Man said, no, 15. Shirt maker says, let me measure again. 16 collar. Man said, I've always worn a 15 collar. Shirt maker says, listen, I'm warning you. You keep on wearing a 15 collar, you'll have ringing in your ears and popped eyes. So the healing arena can be confusing, but we often find our healing in unexpected ways. How do we overcome our mental, emotional, and physical challenges and come to truly embrace the healing consciousness for ourselves, one another, and the planet? I'd like to speak about several approaches to that question today. First, one is being willing to embrace our resistance so we can make a shift into a new way of being. Second is a willingness to explore some questions posed by indigenous cultures so we can recapture our healing creative fire. So first, becoming willing to embrace our resistance means we have to remember to look again at what's called Hegel's dialectic. Have you ever decided to lose weight. And once you made that decision, suddenly you want to eat virtually everything in sight. Have you ever said you were going to quit smoking and suddenly you find yourself smoking more? Or perhaps you came through a tough relationship and you recognized the pattern and you said to yourself, I've had enough of this. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm affirming divine love in my life. And so you find yourself in a new relationship with the same old pattern, a person who's allergic to work, only this one is abusive as well. Or have you ever started a new business and you're sailing along, suddenly you hit a wall and things start coming unglued? This phenomenon was described by a German philosopher named Hegel, and it's called Hegel's dialectic. And I've spoken of it before, but it bears repeating. It says, first there is a thesis, then an antithesis, and then a synthesis. And he described it as sort of the way we move through evolution. The thesis statement might be, for example, I am going to get in shape. And then the antithesis is the exact opposite. All of those negative thoughts and fears and doubts that come forth and say, oh, no, you're not. So if the thesis statement is, I am going to get in shape, the antithesis might be that when the thought to exercise shows up, you go take a nap until it passes. Anybody relate to that? Antithesis brings up doubts that say, I am unworthy, I don't deserve health and wholeness, I can't do it. And these doubts may or may not be conscious. And at the same time, they may show up as feedback from our environment. For example, people saying that we cannot succeed or even trying to tempt us. So the thesis intention is, I'm going to get in shape. The antithesis is all that which says, oh, no, you're not. And the synthesis is the summation or the completion where we reach that new level of fitness and health. We do this by facing the antithesis, the resistance, the false beliefs, and persevering, continuing to focus on God. That's really the secret of the antithesis, is persevering and continuing to focus on God. Not on the continuing saga, the story, or the description of the problem, but on the prescription. We focus on God and what we want to happen, not what we don't want. So in Unity, a New Thought, we teach that this dialectic is part of the way the law operates. We also call it first force, second force, third force. Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, named this second force or antithesis chemicalization. Sometimes when we've made a commitment to our growth, to our healing, things may appear to get worse for a while before they get better. Emmett Fox once said, it seems that everything seems to go wrong all at once. This may be disconcerting, but it really can be a good sign. Suppose your whole world seems to rock on its foundation. Hold on steadily and let it rock. And when the rocking is over, the picture will have reassembled itself to something much nearer to your heart's desire. So how do we persevere and find our healing power, our synthesis? We allow ourselves to be taught by the Spirit of truth within us. And sometimes that presence will instruct us in lawful ways. It is logical, for example, that our health will improve if we eat better, if we exercise, nurture ourselves, meditate more, and so forth. And other times our healing will surprise us because it will show up in seemingly miraculous ways through the power of grace. Other times we have more of a process to work through because of chemicalization or antithesis. Fillmore said it really is like a chemical reaction because it's when a new thought contacts an old thought in consciousness, and this chemical reaction is created. Myrtle Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, refused to accept the diagnosis of terminal tuberculosis, as most of you know. At age 42, she was told she had only months to live. Since she had inherited the illness, that others in her family suffered from. So you can imagine her desperation. She was 42. She had 2 young children at home, a husband. She wanted to live. She had everything to live for. But she was so ill and she was desperate. She was clutching at straws, trying everything. And so finally one night she went to a lecture by a man named E.B. Weeks, and he made the statement, "You are a child of God, and therefore you do not inherit sickness." That is like a magical statement in unity, a sacred statement. It was a revelation to her, and she went home and she began speaking this affirmation daily. I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. And she called upon the life force in her cells, realizing there was a directing intelligence that she could invoke. And I think that's important for all of us to remember. There is a directing intelligence in our cells that we can call forth. She spoke words of truth, of strength, of life to all of the cells and the organs of her body, and within 2 years, she was well. It wasn't overnight. It was a 2-year process, but she kept at it. She persevered. And her healing provided the inspiration for Charles, her husband, to experience his healing as well. And it was the catalyst for the beginning of the Unity movement. I often like to think of that we are all sitting here today because these 2 people paid attention to what was going on with their bodies and focused on the prescription, focused on their healing, and took action. I love that thought. That's kind of incredible. When we are willing to meet our challenge, to face it, and yet still hold to the prescription, the focus on God, then we move beyond the description of the problem into a resolution or the synthesis. So the second focus I want to speak about today is from the work of the late Angelus Arian. It involves 2 questions that cross-cultural indigenous societies typically ask when there's a need for healing. The first of the 2 questions can be stated in contemporary terms. Is my self-worth as strong as my self-critic? Is my self-worth as strong as my self-critic? And it's important to be able to answer yes to that on a daily basis. The indigenous cultures ask that question in a different way. They say, is the good, true, and beautiful in my nature as strong as the whispers of the demons and monsters? Is the good, true, and beautiful in my nature as strong as the whispers of the demons and the monsters? In other words, will the intention expressed in a thesis statement to heal be more powerful than the negative beliefs at work in the antithesis? Is the good, true, and beautiful in my nature as strong as the whispers of the demons and the monsters? Is my self-worth as strong as my self-critic? And we need to answer yes to that question every day in order to be healing agents and creative catalysts in our families, in our organizations, in our communities, in our nations. Then we move beyond antithesis into synthesis, focusing on God, the prescription. The second question that some indigenous people ask themselves on a daily basis comes out of an East European story. A wise man named Zusa went to the top of the mountain to ask for guidance in how he could better serve his community, because he knew the character of any nation or community is built on how people take care of the poor, or the elderly, or the sick, or the youth. So he went to ask for that guidance, and he came down from the mountain and he was terrified. The community gathered around him and they asked, Zusa, why are you so afraid? And he said, well, now I know what the angels will ask me on the last day. They're not going to ask me why, like Moses, I didn't take my people out of the promised land. And they're not going to ask me why, like Joshua, I didn't take my people out of slavery. they are going to ask me, Zusa, why weren't you Zusa? We can put our own name in front of that question. What gets in the way of me being who I truly am is the second question. What gets in the way of me being who I truly am? And that is our soul work. And for the most part, it's a question about deeper self-love, loving ourselves the way we are, and out of that comes healing. I have a slightly humorous story about self-love and esteem. A lady moving into a strange town called a dentist recommended by a friend, and she saw the name on his certificate on the wall as she was waiting for him. And she remembered a tall, handsome boy with the same name had been a member of her high school class some 40 years before. So first glimpse of the dentist revealed graying hair and a deeply lined face, and she decided he was much too old to have been in her class. So she did ask him, though, if he had attended her school, and when he said yes, she asked, well, when did you graduate? In 1940, he replied, why, you were in my class, she cried out. The dentist looked at her closely with a blank expression and then asked slowly, what did you teach? At least they both had a positive, youthful self-image. But here's another story about a young man whose journey took him deeply into chemicalization and antithesis, and the question whether my self-worth is as strong as my self-critic. And also the second question, what gets in the way of me being who I truly am? And this is from Rachel Naomi Remen in her book, Kitchen Table Wisdom. She shared this story. She said, one of the angriest people I've ever worked with was a young man with osteogenic sarcoma, cancer of the right leg. He'd been a high school and college athlete, and until the time of his diagnosis, his life had been good. Beautiful women, fast cars, personal recognition. 2 weeks after his diagnosis, they had removed his right leg above the knee. This surgery, which saved his life, also ended his life. Playing ball was a thing of the past. He began to drink heavily. He began to use drugs. He began to alienate friends and to have one car wreck after another. Finally, his former coach referred him to Dr. Remen, and she said, at the beginning, he had a deep rage, a sense of injustice and self-pity. He hated all the well people. In our second meeting, she said, I gave him a drawing pad and asked him to draw a picture of his body. He drew a crude sketch of a vase, just an outline. Running through the center of it, he drew a deep crack. He went over and over the crack with a black crayon, gritting his teeth and ripping the paper. He had tears in his eyes. It hurt to watch. And after he left, I folded the picture up and saved it. It seemed too important to throw away. So she went on to tell how in time his anger began to change in subtle ways. He began to bring their sessions clippings from the paper, stories about people like him who had been seriously injured, losing a leg or a hand or their looks through a severe burn. He was now judgmental about the well-meaning efforts of doctors and parents. No one understood them. He was angry about this, but underneath, a concern for others was growing. Finally, Dr. Remen asked if he'd like to meet some of them, and he agreed. So she set it up, and over time, he helped many, and then began to help their parents. And the doctors were thrilled and sent their patients to him. Remen writes, my favorite of all his stories concerned a visit to a young woman who had a tragic family history with breast cancer. And finally, at 21, she had to have both of her breasts removed surgically. He visited her on a hot midsummer day wearing shorts, his artificial leg in full view. Deeply depressed, she lay in bed with her eyes closed, refusing to look at him. He tried everything but could not reach her. He made jokes. He even got angry. Frustrated, he finally stood And in a last effort to get her attention, he unstrapped the harness of his artificial leg and let it drop to the floor with a loud thump. Startled, she opened her eyes and saw him for the first time. Encouraged, he began to hop around the room, snapping his fingers in time to the music and laughing out loud. After a moment, she burst out laughing too. "Fellas," she said, "if you can dance, maybe I can sing." The young woman became his friend and began to visit people in the hospital with him. She was in school, and she encouraged him to return to school to study psychology and his dream of carrying his work further. And eventually, she became his wife, a very different sort of person from the models and cheerleaders from his past. In our final meeting, Dr. Remen said, we were reviewing the way he had come, the sticking points and the turning points. I opened his chart and I found the picture of the broken vase that he had drawn 2 years before. Unfolding it, I asked him if he remembered the drawing he had made of his body. He took it in his hands and he looked at it for a time. "You know," he said, "it's really not finished." Surprised, I extended my basket of crayons toward him. Taking a yellow crayon, he began to draw lines radiating from the crack in the vase to the very edges of the paper. Thick yellow lines. I watched, puzzled. He was smiling. Finally, he put his finger on the crack, looked at me, and said softly, "This is where the light comes through." Remen concludes, suffering shapes the life force, sometimes into anger, sometimes into blame and self-pity. Eventually, it may show us the freedom of loving and serving life. So in closing, let us be ready to ask each day, is my self-worth stronger than my self-critic? And what gets in the way of me being who I truly am? Focus on God, the prescription, and you will discover your healing power. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Kathy. Always. This song is written by Nako Bear. The previous song was by Megan McDonough. So which wolf will you feed? One makes you strong, one makes you weak. And those who know and those who see, amidst the chaos, find your peace. I know which wolf I'll feed. I know which wolf I'll feed. Oh, hey, 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 hey. Oh, hey, 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 hey. Hey, hey. Hey, 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 hey. Oh, hey. Hey, 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 hey. Oh, hey. Great Spirit, I have had it. Bring me back to the nomadic way of weaving through the damage. Mindful, staying mindful. Great Spirit, for my sisters, let me be a flowing river. Flood the banks, the rocks that bind her. Carry, I'll carry. Great Spirit, oh, how great. Great Spirit, wow. Great Spirit, for my brothers, let me be a mountain under which he climbs to discover his process. Now that's progress. Great Spirit, all that hinders, tie reminders to my fingers. I must speak with you more often. Oh, great, great Spirit. Oh, great, great Spirit. Oh, great Spirit, for my relations, give them strength to face racism in every situation. Oh, easy now, go on, speak loud. Great Spirit, take me instead, guide me down the road of red, Tunkashila. I'm saying, praying, Tunkashila. Oh, Tunkashila. Oh, oh. Great Spirit, system collapse, nothing but the earth will last, and I'll be singing sweetly into the darkness. Now hark this, Great Spirit, on my tongue, be still, be still. The time will come when everyone will sing, oh, life is sacred, while I'm waiting. Great Spirit, my fist is up, bringing the power to the people, your reflection of us. Some of your people can't hear it, the cries of the earth. Some of your people can't feel it, the way that it hurts, and it hurts, Great Spirit. Oh, and it moves, Great Spirit. It's interconnected in the wreckage of a paradigm on its way out. Its way out. Speaking of spiritual, lyrical testimonies, a spiritual lyricist weaving around false prophecies, spirit directed and selected with the message I bring. While the ship surely sinks, I've been directed to sing like a wrecking ball, bringing down the walls of the past. A minimalist, living my bliss with the last of my cash. You're gonna be justified how you treated the lad. You're gonna be by my side when I stand and demand a change. They know not what they do. They know not what they do. Can we forgive them for that too? Let them see you.
Thank you very much, Judy, Reverend Kathy. Could we just run through all of that again, just real quick? There's a lot to connect there. I might have to go back and view this again on YouTube. But thank you for the music, Judy. It's always today was part affirmation, part it seemed to me rallying cry. You know, a statement of action. You know, all those things tied together. I love that statement, Reverend Kathy. What gets in the way of me being me? And I've heard that phrased a little different recently, and somebody said, well, ego. He said it's the new acronym for trouble. It stands for edging God out. And I thought, oh, I kind of like that one. So I think what gets in the way of me being me is I keep edging God out. Okay. We're now here to bless our offering, and we have many things to be grateful for. We bless those who share of their resources and their abundance, of their time, monetary donations, those that take care of the building, take care of our children, do family table. We give thanks for all those who are here today blessing us with their presence, those that are blessing us with their presence online. We believe it is not one kind of gift that makes things work, but a blending of all these gifts from everybody that make us Unity North Spiritual Center. So as a community, together, divine love flowing through me now blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
And if you have any questions about the announcements that were given earlier, be sure to see one of us after service. We can get you the website or the telephone numbers or any information that you are looking for. Please join me in the community affirmation. Centered in prayerful intention, we give thanks for an overflowing abundance of spiritual awakening, prosperity, new members and children for Unity North Spiritual Center. And I think I'll let Reverend Kathy take it on home.
Thank you, Howard. Let's give him a hand. Great job. Thank you to Tracy and Martha for such divine order in our service today. And Judy, your songs were so extra special. That Great Spirit one, it just took my breath away. Loved it. Let's give her a big thank you. And I invite you to stand for our prayer for protection and our peace song. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment